Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be you become strong while they become small. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I'm referring to the healing path, post-narcissistic relationship. Once you've closed the chapter on these people, you've gone no contact, blocked them, deleted them, removed all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you can't do that, utilize Gray Rock. I've preached that on each and every video because it works. It is the path. It is the purpose. And when you get strong, you will understand that that is the way to get you to break free from the trauma bond and from the narcissistic relationship. You will get stronger each and every day that you do not communicate with the narcissist. Each and every day that you do go no contact. Each and every day that you focus on yourself and that you process that relationship, you wrap your head around what narcissism is and how it affected you for a period of time. You learn the definitions, the glossary, the terms on the narcissistic abusive cycle. You put yourself back together. You are on the healing path. You are headed in the same direction as myself. We are all approaching or have reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where we no longer care about that past relationship. We have learned from it, or we are learning from it. We are not staying stuck in the past. We are not predicting the future. We are living in the present moment, the here and the now. And each and every day that you get away from that narcissistic relationship, you do become stronger because you are not being peppered with gaslighting, the silent treatment, stonewalling, rage fits, triangulation, etc., day in and day out, week after week, month after month, maybe even decade after decade. You've now slowed your life down, whether it was you who got discarded or you ended it yourself. There's a huge void that needs to be filled post-narcissistic relationship. And many times people believe that that void needs to be filled by the narcissist. The narcissist will never fill any void that you have. They didn't when you were in the relationship. They won't now, and they didn't when you were discarded, and they can't in the future because the narcissist is an empty shell. They're a hollow vessel. Their cup is not full. It never will be full. The only time the narcissist fuel was running high was when you were with them because you provided an energy source for them. Again, you didn't know what narcissism was because you weren't taught it in school. You couldn't wrap your head around how somebody could profess that they loved you. And then a day, 2, 3 years later, they just threw you away like a sheet of paper, crumbled you up and threw you away on the freeway. This is what the narcissist does. This is how little they care about not only you, but anybody that they encounter. The narcissist cares about one person, and it is themselves. So the stronger you become, the smaller they become. This is a fact, because once you are on the healing path and once you understand that your strength is coming back, your health is recovering, your health is returning, your finances are not on zero anymore, your bank account is being built up, you have weeded out, or your friends, past friend groups have weeded themselves out if they listened to the smear campaign or if they didn't check in on you, and you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. Nobody, and I mean nobody, came and knocked on your door to check in on you. Nobody was there to rescue you. Nobody was there to save you. No one was there to give you the light bulb moment, hint, hint, the wink that you were in a narcissistic relationship. You had to figure that out on your own. You had to type something in the search engine or the browser, example, spouse won't talk to me. And that led you down the rabbit hole of exploration and of discovery and of education. And then you got your first light bulb moment. You said, oh my gosh, that's what this was. This person I was in the relationship with for years, maybe even had kids with, or put a roof over their head, or traveled, or spent so much time with them. They never cared about me. They just looked at me as an opportunity. They looked at me as somebody who could catapult them from where they were before I met them to somewhere further along the path of life. And they took all of my resources with them when they discarded me. But once the void is there, post-narcissistic relationship, you will have a couple things. One thing you will have is a lot of time. You will have a lot of time to process things and to heal and to understand that, in fact, this was not your fault. The relationship, you were in the relationship, you were manipulated, you were taken advantage of, you were duped and tricked and trapped, and you were exploited. The narcissist looked at you as a weak and frail and not strong person. This is why when the narcissist placed you in the trauma bond early on in that relationship, that's why they strung the relationship out as long as they could to extract as much of your resources as they possibly could take until they found your replacement, i.e. the new supply, and they did the same thing with them, and then they leapfrogged from your relationship with the narcissist onto the new supply, and then they threw you away like a sheet of paper. Now, I'm not being graphic, and I'm just being blunt and honest with you, because the more you wrap your head around that the narcissist cannot change, the only thing that they do change is the mask they wear, and the more you understand that you were targeted, you were sought out, and you were looked for as a beautiful, bright, shining light, or as an energy source. And that is what you are right now. You are a beautiful, bright, shining light, and your energy is abundant. It is returning to you. You are glowing. You're looking better. Your mental capacities have returned. Your health has returned. Everything returns to you post-narcissistic relationship. Now, does it happen in a day? Absolutely not. Does it happen in a week or a month? No, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, but in your time, if you utilize the tools that are provided for you in the community, and you read the comments of all the other people who have come through the narcissistic abusive cycle, or who are getting the message and they're understanding what I'm sharing with you, this is a superpower. It is something you can't buy. It is something that you can't acquire by going to a university. It's something that you have to go through. And I'm referring to the narcissistic abusive cycle. People can say that they experienced a toxic relationship, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. What I do know is, if you had to, when your relationship ended, if you had to actually heal from it, and I mean slow your life down and fill the void in and heal and learn about something that you did not even know existed, i.e. narcissism, then you know what I'm talking about. You speak the same language as me, and you can probably finish my sentence as I can finish your sentence, because I lived it. And my hope is, unfortunately, you've lived it too, and you're healing. That's why you're in the community. If you're not, then either you're one of two people. You are a narcissist, and if that's the case, please get out of the channel. Or B, you're somebody who is craving the wisdom, even though you haven't experienced a narcissistic relationship, and you're trying to build boundaries and protect yourself and insulate yourself so you don't enter a relationship with a narcissist. There are many reasons why people crave the wisdom, crave the education, but the number one reason is because you need to heal. And this is when you get strong. When you get strong, the narcissist becomes small. Remember what I'm sharing. The narcissist had you caught up in the trauma bond. They wanted you existing in that narcissistic fog. They wanted you pining for them. They wanted you thinking about them. They wanted to live in your head rent-free. And they did that for a period of time until they no longer could do it. This is when you finally got the wisdom and applied the tools. And again, you went no contact, etc. But this is when you understood, wow, these people are actually the weak ones. They're the frail ones. They're the cowards. They're the bullies. They're the shallow, empty shells. They're the people that need somebody like me, or needed somebody like me, to catapult them through life. Because all the narcissist is a mimicker. They just regurgitate or repeat back other people's ideas, the apparel that they wear, and the lines that they use, and the vacation spots they go to. They are takers. The narcissist wants to take, and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. And they did this, and they succeeded with you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship, until, again, you were discarded, let's say, and then you had to put yourself back together. But keep in mind, the narcissist did not believe you, A, would ever put yourself back together, B, you would figure out they were a narcissist, C, get the wisdom, and D, apply the wisdom. This is a pivotal part of the video. Once you come through the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you, again, were isolated all by yourself, and you were alone, and nobody could wrap their head around what you were experiencing, but you had sleepless nights, you had carnal screams, you lost weight, you gained weight, you didn't want to go outside, you didn't want to communicate with anybody, and you were not only isolated, but for a period, you were self-isolating. When you did that, you really had to slow your life down and wrap your head around what this was, which was the narcissistic abusive cycle that you were entrenched in. This is where you were existing for a long period of time. Whether it was a day, a month, a year, a decade, or a lifetime, 1 minute in these relationships is 1 minute too long. And once you wrapped your head around what you were up against, and you conquered this strange entity almost from a different planet, which is narcissism, you really need to slow your life down and pat yourself in the back and give yourself credit. You did something that you did not know you were capable of doing. You broke the trauma bond. You solved the puzzle. You solved the riddle. You wrapped your head around that this toxic relationship was not anything that you had been taught in school, so you didn't know how to combat it, but you knew that there was something wrong with the relationship. Something was off, and it wasn't you. You were watching your partner or this person continue to berate you, smash you with verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, and at times even physical abuse. And as you watched this happen to you, you could not wrap your head around the person that claimed that they loved you, why they would do it and how they could do it. And you still gave to a fault. You still contributed to that relationship. You still wanted to build it up until something happened, until something broke, which means the narcissist had taken everything they could from you, or you ended it yourself and you said, I can't do this, I need to leave, something's wrong here. But when you wrapped your head around it and you realized that all that baggage and the toxicity, it wasn't on your end. You were the recipient of all of the narcissist's toxic behavior. They needed someone, they needed an outlet. They needed a beautiful, bright, shining light. They needed a fuel source to tolerate their poor behavior, but yet to never call them out, and to tolerate their poor behavior, but yet never discover who they were. But again, you put yourself back together. You beat something that you did not even know you were up against. Example, let's say that you're playing a sporting event and it's Team A versus Team B. Well, if you're on Team A, you know that the goal of the sporting event is to win and to beat Team B. Okay, well, you know the rules and you know what to do. When you're in a narcissistic relationship, there are no rules. It's bizarro world. What is up is down, in is out, left is right, etc. And no matter what you said or did would not have changed the ending or the outcome of that relationship, because it didn't matter what you said to the narcissist. They were going to weaponize your words against you. And that's what they did throughout the whole relationship. That's why you were in the devaluation stage so long, trapped in that narcissistic abusive cycle and trapped in the narcissistic fog, a place you did not even know existed. And again, with the narcissist, you couldn't believe the poor behaviors you experienced, that you tolerated, that you saw. Who would behave this way? It was almost as if an alien landed from a different planet and just overtook a human life form and just started peppering you with abuse and not communicating properly and being unaccountable and not introspecting. Well, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a dark energy force that tried to take you down for the count, but it didn't. It did a number on you and it did damage to you, but you healed, or you're healing, or you've reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, or you're well on your way. But what you are doing, I can assure you, is you are processing that relationship. Now, if you weren't in a narcissistic relationship, the chances are that you need to heal from it are minimal. The narcissistic relationship is unlike any relationship you will ever encounter, because you need to heal from it. You need to process things. You need to get closure, and the closure will be provided by you exclusively to yourself. That may be a very difficult pill to swallow, but the narcissist will never give you closure. As a matter of fact, they don't want you to get closure, and they don't want you to ever figure out who they were or who they are and what they're capable of. But now you're getting the wisdom, and you're understanding that the stronger you get, the smaller the narcissist becomes. So eventually what happens is the narcissist will drift off. Imagine, if you will, you're driving a car and you look up in the rear view mirror and you see something in the distance and it's very close. Maybe it's like 10, 20 yards behind your car. And then you start driving away and that object gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then as you continue to drive away, the object disappears. Well, that's the narcissist as you exit the relationship. And each and every mile or each and every yard that you drive or you continue to move forward, you get further away from the narcissist, and eventually they become small and you become strong. Now again, I mentioned this, when you really heal and you become strong, you enter a place called the third version of yourself, the strongest, most galvanized version of yourself known to humankind. This is a place that, again, you did not know existed, but this is a place where you will reach, you will strive to get to, and you will get there when you've healed properly. Just like you didn't know that the narcissistic abusive cycle even existed because you weren't taught it, you also didn't know that the third version of you existed, but it does. I'm living it, and many people in the community are too. This is when they have become as strong as they possibly can get. They've processed childhood wounds, they've processed the relationship, they've seen a therapist, they've journaled, they've meditated, they've watched videos, they've slowed their life down, they've cleaned out all of the relationships, or their former relationships have weeded themselves out. And now they know, these people, myself included, they know within a moment if they want to communicate with somebody or not. And they now have an extra sense, a sense of empathy. They are now the educated empath. They can tell if somebody is telling them the truth in a second or not, or if they want to give them any of their time or not. This is the third version of you. It's a place that is saved only for those of us who rise through the ashes and come through the fire like a phoenix and put ourselves back together. This is when you get strong. This is when the narcissist becomes small, and eventually, using that car analogy, the narcissist will just slither away. There will be a dot on the radar. There will be a chapter of your life that no longer matters. Now, keynote here, caveat, pro tip, You need to understand and learn the lifelong learning lessons from the relationship, and you need to keep those in the back of your mind, because you went through something that you were not prepared for. It was a hurricane, a tornado of a relationship that tried to tear you apart, and it did at times, but you put yourself back together. So now you need to learn from those past experiences. You need to not predict the future, and you need to live in the present moment and slow your life down and become abundant, and you will see doors open for you. You will see possibilities open for you. You will see opportunities fall into your lap. You will see relationships right in front of you if you want to enter those or not, romantically, friendships, acquaintances, businesses, who knows, but you are now toxic free, you're now narcissist free, and you are becoming stronger each and every day. And the narcissist is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, this will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time, you will reach the pinnacle of indifference. You must apply the tools. You must understand that the narcissist never had your best interest at heart in the past, right now, or in the future. They tried to hoodwink you and trick you and trap you and manipulate you, and they succeeded, but they can no longer do it. They can no longer succeed with you because you now have boundaries. You are not a people pleaser. You're not a yes person. You now can say no, the strongest word in the English language. And remember, when you say no to something or someone, you're saying yes to yourself. That is something you could not say when you were in the relationship with the narcissist. You couldn't say no at all because they would throw a rage fit on you or gaslight you or blame shift you, or they would do so many different things. But now it's different because you're toxic, narcissistic free. Your life is abundant. It is moving forward, and it is moving the direction and speed that you want to be moving in. This is a good thing. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it. I loved doing it. From the beautiful Carolinas, this is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. As you get stronger and further away from the relationship, I will tell you right now, you will improve your health and things will return. It will take time, but they will. And the narcissist will be nothing but a blip on the radar. They will slither away onto the new supply and continue in their own loop of destruction, misery, chaos, and confusion. But it must be without you. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.